When you were in here last night, I assume you hadn't seen that pool play. Now that you have, what's kind of your take on that situation?
I don't have a take. Nothing really nothing to comment on.
Where they seem to be indicating they thought, it could be, I guess, elevated to something more than nothing, I guess is what it is at this point. What did you think about that?
I watched the tape, and
a few of them mentioned broke the code, obvious reference, I think, to your press conference. Do you just take that as regular playoff back and forth? Do you take it personally?
No, I don't take it personally. So I watched the play. There's nothing to comment on.
Draymond mentioned that I think it was the irony of you're a team that isn't known for physicality, and just in conversation, it's known of shooting threes, that sort of thing. Do you see that irony that this now has turned into this theoretical battle of bullies or whatever it is? I'm trying to phrase it in a way that doesn't crack you up.
I got you. Yeah. I mean, it's an off day in the series, and I guess we got to talk about this stuff, but there's nothing to talk about. We're playing basketball, So we won. We're up 2-1. We're getting ready for Game 4. So I don't worry about any of the other stuff.
What did you like about Kuminga's minutes last night, and what would you like to see him improve on?
Did a lot of good stuff out there. I was really happy with JK. His defense was good. He ran the floor. He attacked. He got a couple easy buckets for us. The improvement has to come from the turnovers. He had the 3 turnovers in the first quarter. Just overly aggressive and got a little bit out of control. But he's a rookie, and he's constantly learning and growing. But he did a really good job.
I was going to say, some of those turnovers, do you think that was just fueled by trying to do too much, maybe, or
the turnovers?
Yeah.
You're just trying too hard to make a play when he didn't really have to. Just got to pick up the ball and move it on.
The first play was a lob. Draymond lobbed to him. John broke it up, and I think the next play came to him. Was that you hoping to get him going, or was that his teammates looking for him for Kuminga?
It's just a play. We got lots of plays, and we look at the film, and we try to figure out what might work, and so that was our opening play, and obviously Ja made a great read on it and stole the ball, but. I think I said last night, one of the reasons that I started JK was we're missing Gary's ability to finish against their defense. The way they play, they're very aggressive. They're attacking everywhere. So you need some ability to finish quickly at the basket before their shot blockers can get there. And JK does that really well, and he got a couple of early baskets doing that. And so he'll continue to be a factor for us.
It seemed like you went more zone than you had been. They seemed to think it threw them out of rhythm. What did you like about when you did go zone, and did you go to it more?
Yeah, we played more zone last night than in the first couple of games, and every game's different. You just if something works, you stick with it a little longer. If it doesn't work, you go away from it, and then in a series, there's going to be adjustments. And then you got to adjust to the adjustments, and what does that mean for us? So I'm sure they'll be ready to attack the zone tomorrow, and we may not play much of it at all. We'll just have to read the game.
There was a sequence in this last game where Jordan and Steph kind of crossed on the baseline, linked arms, and sort of slingshotted each other back out to the wing. What do you guys call that?
We don't have a name for that, but we used to run it a lot with Steph and Clay first couple of years. I think it was Alvin Gentry brought that action to us, and so we used it years ago, and we thought it might be something that could be effective in this series.
Small lineup was a plus last night, maybe the first time in a while. Is it are you targeting it for certain segments or against certain lineups?
Yeah, we go into every game with a kind of a rough draft of what our rotation will look like, and we always plot out some time blocks for certain lineups, and that lineup for sure. So we got to it eventually, and it was effective. And again, every game is different. You just have to react to what's happening out there. But I thought JP was fantastic last night. Having that extra playmaker on the floor when Steph is on the court, the two of them together is very effective because you can attack from different points against the defense. So we'll get back to that, but we'll see how many minutes we do that for. It'll depend on how the game's going.
Just a follow up quick on the play he was talking about, that slingshot play. Is that because you guys think it'll kind of fool the defense, or I guess would you say is like the basketball purpose of that play?
Yeah, it's just you're just trying to create some pace and force and a little deception, and it's just a quirky thing that those guys have done for. We didn't do much of it this year, but in our early years they did quite a bit of that, and again, just we got a whole bunch of plays, and we try to think of stuff that as we watch our opponent's defense, we just try to think of stuff that might be effective. So
obviously, we'd love if we could only just talk about basketball, but with the NBA, things spew on Twitter or like overflow and stuff. And there was a weatherman from Memphis yesterday that tweeted a slur in reference to Draymond Green. Did you see that?
A weatherman?
Yeah.
No, I got off Twitter over a year ago, and it's been blissful, and I highly recommend to everybody.
I wish I could do that, honestly. It'd be great for the mental health.
I did not see that.
Okay. Does that surprise you, though, that somebody would do that still?
Does it surprise me that a weatherman would tweet a slur at Draymond in 2022? Not in the slightest bit. This is America. This is how we operate. So, yeah.
Steve, does this series have a weird feel to it? Not just in the games, but there's so much around it, whether it was last night or game 2 of Dillon Brooks or game 1 with the stuff about Draymond. You've been in a lot of playoff series, and you kind of know how the rhythm of it goes. Is this one just a little odd or a little weird, I guess is the word?
I don't think so. I think it's a classic matchup of a young up and coming team and a veteran team. Trying to keep our ground. And Memphis, I've talked about it throughout the series. What an amazing job they've done the last few years of building their organization, and what a great job Taylor's done with the team, and the young talent, the way they've drafted, the way they've developed. A great team, hell of a team, and they're competitive, and they want what we have. And you look at the history of the league. This is how it works. The younger teams trying to take over, and so anytime you have those situations, those type of matchups, it gets physical, it gets chippy, whatever you want to call it, and so it doesn't strike me as weird at all, actually.
All right, let's go to Zoom. Monty Poole, go ahead.
Yeah, Steve, the second half last night, you guys had 3 turnovers. I think it was your cleanest half of the postseason. Did something happen in particular, or what do you think clicked there?
I just think we settled in. I thought we were so amped up early that we got in a rush, and you saw plenty of turnovers early in the game where we were just trying to force things. And I think by halftime our guys had settled in, and that really showed in the third quarter. We executed really well and just made simple plays, and that's going to be the message. For the rest of this series, we have to keep it simple. They're really athletic. They're great in transition. if you're too ambitious, you're trying to make too many plays for yourself, that plays into their hands.
Do you think the experience edge, which we talked about going into the postseason that you guys have, is starting to kick in?
I can only speak for, our team, but, I think we've grown here in the first 2 rounds, we because we have the mix that we do, these veteran guys who have won championships, but also newer additions to the team, guys like Jordan and Wiggs and JK, Otto. You really need to go through the fire together. And I think, facing Denver, facing Memphis, the greatness of Ja and of Jokic, that's what forges a team, is learning how to compete and bring your best stuff against the best in the league. And so I like our growth, here early in the second round. I mean, obviously there's a lot of work ahead, but I just like the fact that our guys have had to come together and get better over the first few weeks, and I think we have.
One follow-up. Is it conceivable that Otto could earn a start at some point in this series?
Yeah, it's conceivable.
All right, Maria, go ahead.
Hi, Steve. Hope you're well. With all the challenges your team has faced in this series against the Grizzlies, what are the main improvements that you've seen from your guys so far? And also, sorry, my throat. And also, what are those key aspects from yesterday's game that you feel really happy about?
I think our guys have done a good job of adapting to Memphis's speed. They're a really athletic team, and I think the first few games they've had a bunch of blocked shots. They've challenged shots. They've forced some turnovers, and I think our guys have done a good job of starting to feel that. Definitely in the second half last night, you could tell that the players adapted to that speed and kept the game simpler, and it paid off for us. That's really the focus, is just being ourselves and concentrating on what we do, but with our opponent's strengths in mind at the same time. So it's a different series from Denver. The speed is different. The attacking point coming from Ja rather than Jokic is very different. So this is what it's like in the playoffs, and this is what makes it fun. You have to adapt and adjust to each series, and our guys are doing a good job of that.